Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Minnesota Browns fans. It's been a while since I last posted. The last thing you guys saw from me is my YouTube shorts where I reacted to Browns drafting all of these new rookies. So what I want to do today is kind of give you guys an update on how I feel about these rookies, because the only thing you really know about me and how I feel about these rookies is how I reacted to when we drafted them. I didn't make any YouTube videos about the preseason, training camp, anything like that. So what I want to do today is create a power rankings of the Browns players, specifically the rookies, and talk about the impact they have made so far in just 3 weeks. How I want to start this is I have 15 guys. I have one honorable mention, 15 meaning they've been the least amount of impactful player, one being, yeah, this player has been the most impactful. I'm happy we have them. They look like an offensive player of the year or a defensive rookie of the year type player. Okay, so first thing I want to start off with, honorable mention, Luke Floria. Now, if you watched the first preseason game, you saw Luke Floria make a one-handed catch that blew your mind. Unfortunately, on that same play, he hurt his hamstring. Because of that, the Browns had to waive him with injury destination, and lo and behold, a few weeks later, right before week 4, we signed him back to the practice squad. He is healthy. I'm glad he's back. I hope he can make his way to the active roster one day because I think he's a really good player, and obviously he's a local kid. He's a Cleveland boy. Okay? Now, with Luke Floria out of the way, number 15, Gage Larvadain. Gage Larvadain looked like just a beast in preseason. You had Dylan Gabriel, you had Shedeur Sanders slinging him the ball. He was our best receiver in the preseason, and guess what? Because of that, he made the initial 53-man roster. It was awesome. I was so looking forward to seeing him play. I was wondering, can he steal snaps from guys like Isaiah Bond or Jamari Thrasher or even Cedric Tillman? Well, week 1, he's a healthy and active. Didn't play at all, right? He was healthy. Browns coaches said, yeah, it's not your time. All right, week 2 comes around, and Quinshon Judkins has signed with the Browns, and people are wondering who are the Browns going to cut to make room for him. It happened to be Gage Larvadain. Since being cut, he's been back on the Browns practice squad, but has not been called up yet at all. So he has made really no impact on the field for real games for the Browns, so he falls to number 15. Number 14 is a guy who's always been on the practice squad and has been called up recently and played 4 defensive snaps in week 3. That player is Dom Jones. Dom Jones, for those of you who don't know, cornerback. I love the guy. I thought he had a phenomenal preseason game against the Panthers, and I have really high expectations for the kid. Now, he's 14 because he actually has played in a game, although only 4 snaps. But I just got the report that he's been activated again, called up to the 53-man roster from the practice squad for week 4 against the Lions, and we're definitely going to need him against the Lions. Now, here's kind of my hopes with Dom Jones. For anyone who's been watching any Browns games at all this year, you know Cameron Mitchell, Miles Harden have been bad. There are nickel corners. They were toasted by the Ravens. Their liabilities on defense, a defense who has looked elite so far, they're the biggest holes. What I would love to see is Dom Jones step up to be that nickel CB or outside of Denzel Ward. That way we can move Greg Newsome back into the slot where he kind of fits in best, and then we can have our kind of trio of corners. Again, that's a lot to hope for. Based on what we've seen from Dom Jones so far, 4 snaps, you shouldn't really expect that, but I want you to know that I do have high hopes for Dom Jones. I really like the guy, undrafted. Here's to Dom Jones. Now, 13, this might make people angry in the power rankings, but I got Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is emergency QB3. He is technically active or inactive. He's inactive on game days unless there's an emergency. Then Shedeur Sanders, he could be our emergency quarterback. He has no stats on this year. Doesn't mean he won't have any stats later on in the year. Just as of right now, he has yet to make an impact on the team, at least on the field. I know he has an impact on the locker room and outside the field. Everyone loves him. Since drafting Shedeur Sanders, my opinion on him, I don't want to say I have changed, but I do think he's kind of a headache. And when I say that, Shador's not the headache. I think Shador's been just fine. It's his fan base. His fan base is kind of crazy. They attack the Cleveland Browns for not playing Shador Sanders. They belittle the Browns. They say Shador should be starting right now. He's their best quarterback, and he may very well be. But I hate it because they're not Browns fans. They're Shador Sanders fans. So they have been annoying me, and I kind of take it out on Shador Sanders a little bit. I kind of wish we didn't draft him so I wouldn't have to deal with him. That being said, I still like Shador Sanders. I still hope he's a successful quarterback. His fan base has just really annoyed me. Now, number 12, I have Donovan McMillan. He was a very coveted undrafted free agent out of Pittsburgh. He ended up signing with the Browns. He made the initial 53-man roster as our fifth safety. I thought the Browns would only keep 4 safeties, but lo and behold, he became our fifth safety, and he's active. This is the first guy who's been active every game so far for all 3 weeks, and he's a special teamer. He's had 1 or 2 tackles on special teams. I don't want to say he hasn't really made an impact. Special teams is very important, but compared to these other guys, he hasn't really made that impact. He fell. He was around 10, 9, 11 area. He fell to 12 because last game against the Packers, he had a face mask call that, as a gunner, as a special teamer, as someone who is undrafted, you cannot make that mistake. You cannot give up 15 yards, and lo and behold, he had one of those mistakes. So he dropped for me. Although, I am very happy we have him, and I want him to succeed, but he's going to fall at number 12. Number 11, I have Raheem Sanders. Now, Raheem Sanders was a undrafted rookie who was playing for the Chargers during their preseason. He got cut. Browns put a claim for him. This is without Judkins, so when we got Sanders, we were rolling with Ford, Sampson, and Raheem Sanders. And I thought, okay, we could do this. Week 1 comes around, and they use Raheem Sanders in the red zone. They use him as a goal line running back, and he scores one of our first touchdowns, or our first touchdown of the year. And I'm thinking, hey, this could be a guy who's on our team for a long time. With Sampson, with Judkins. And then, Judkins come back, and I'm wondering, what are we going to do? And Sanders has been a healthy and active post week 1. Inactive week 2, inactive week 3. And he kind of just sits there after scoring our first touchdown of the year. So he has that 1 touchdown, which is awesome. It was cool to see. But since then, I don't want to say he's irrelevant, but he's RB4 right now. And with Ford still on the roster as of now, Raheem Sanders is not going to touch the ball for a while. Number 10, I have another undrafted free agent. We had 5 of them. This guy right here is Easton Mascarenas-Arnold. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys right here. Now, he's number 10 in the power rankings. He's a special teamer just like Donovan McMillan. When he made our active 53-man roster, I had no idea who he was. I'd never heard his name before. It was kind of crazy because I do consider myself a diehard Browns fan. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold, I have never heard of. That being said, he has been active all 3 games. He is a special teamer along with Donovan McMillan, and he's done his job. He got his first tackle against the Packers, and he has 0 15-yard penalties. Because he's active, because he doesn't have a major penalty, he falls number 10 in the power rankings. Now, number 9, hopefully this isn't controversial, it's Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel has played 1 game in garbage time. He went 3 for 3 on passes for 19 yards and threw a touchdown to rookie Dylan Sampson. Other than that, he hasn't played at all. Now, Dillon Gabriel has the ability to go up higher and higher in the power rankings once Kevin Stefanski finally makes the decision to get Joe Flacco out of the game. Joe Flacco, watching him these last 3 games, he is not the Joe Flacco we had in 2023. He looks like a 40-year-old. His mobility is non-existent. My dad, who has multiple knee surgeries and who is 55, I think can run faster than Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, what he did so well in 2023 is he threw the ball downfield accurately. We haven't seen that Joe Flacco. He looks very happy to check it down and very content with 3 and outs. And he's kind of, I don't like watching him play. Our Browns offense is atrocious right now, and I don't think Joe Flacco gives us anything. some people would argue Joe Flacco doesn't turn the ball over. He's got 4 interceptions on the year. Now, 2 of them weren't his fault. They bounced off Jerry Jeudy's hands. They bounced off Cedric Tillman's hands. That being said, one of his touchdowns on the year bounced off Marlon Humphrey's hands and just happened to fall into Cedric Tillman's hands. So it goes both ways. Joe Flacco, I'll give it maybe 2 to 3 more weeks, and then it's Dillon Gabriel time. I really hope so, at least, because Joe Flacco running this offense, it makes me sick. I want to see Dillon Gabriel. I really do. And then that way we're also closer to seeing Shedeur Sanders, and we're closer to seeing, are these 2 rookies, are they our future, or are we going to look to draft someone in 2026 with our 2 first-round picks? What do I think about Dillon Gabriel? I don't want to say I've done a 180 on him. I wasn't really happy when we drafted him. I wanted Shedeur Sanders, obviously, or I wanted Xavier Watts, who's playing very well with the Falcons. But Dillon Gabriel has grown on me. I do actually really like him now. I like him more than Sanders. That could be because of his fans, or it could be because he's more quiet. I don't want to say docile, but just more modest. So Dillon Gabriel, he's going to fall to number 9 on the power rankings. Number 8 on the power rankings, someone I didn't add initially, but then I added him late. It's Andre Schmitz, right? He is technically a rookie. He's like an NBA rookie. He's been on rosters before, but never active in a real NFL game before. And I did not think he'd be on the team long enough after his week 1 performance to actually rank. So I just assumed he would be cut. He bounced back. He is currently 4 for 5 for field goals on the year. His first week against the Bengals, he went 1 for 2, missed like a 34, 35, 36 yarder, and a PAT, which you could argue definitely cost us the game. Since then, he's been perfect. He hit his 1 field goal against the Ravens. He knocked down a 55-yarder against the Packers, which, time running down, probably the most pressure this guy has ever felt in his life. Definitely would have been crucified on social media and by the Browns community. And he goes and he hits a 55-yarder to beat the 3-0 Packers. Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. The 2-0 Packers. But yeah, it was a big deal. I'm happy for him. And, 4 for 5 on the year. Okay, I'll give the rookie some grace right there. He's going to fall at number 8. He could end up going higher in the power rankings, depending on the Browns' comfortability with him. I hope they have confidence in him kicking 55-yarders or 50-yarders in the future. I kind of hate it when the Browns, they either punt when they could have a 50-yarder, but they don't trust the kicker, so they punt it. I hope Kevin Stefanski can trust Andre Schmitz. I hope Andre Schmitz can kind of keep this consistency. That way, Browns can keep scoring points from farther out, and he can keep moving up the power rankings. Number 7. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where kind of the real ball players come in, the guys who are on the field a lot more of the snaps than these other guys. Number 7, I have Aiden Huntington, another undrafted target, D tackle, and I say D tackle, but he's more of a utility player. Last game against the Packers, 18 snaps on defense, 6 on offense. He's looked really good. I love it when he comes in there, goal line situations. You got big old Aiden Huntington running onto the field as fullback. He is a fun player. He got a half a sack with Myles Garrett on Jordan Love. They call him the Turtle. Basically looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Just kind of a badass, big dude who, he's a D tackle, so he might be a little slower, in retrospect to like a wide receiver. But on the D line, he's fast and he can move. And he's looking really good, and I'm wondering, is he going to get more snaps than Shelby Harris here coming up here in the future? I don't know. You got also Mike Hall, who has to come back, and he might take away snaps from Aiden Huntington. But as of right now, Aiden Huntington has been a real fun player for the Browns. Number 6. Number 6, I have Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond was undrafted. He should have been drafted, but he had allegations against him. Courts ruled it to be false. That never happened, or the girl recanted what she said, which is a whole nother can of worms that I do not want to get into. But Isaiah Bond signs with us, and it's obvious the Browns want to use him. Last game against the Packers, he had 43 snaps on offense. Joe Flacco couldn't get him the ball. I think he had 2 catches for like 26 yards or something. Don't quote me on that. But there were so many opportunities that Isaiah Bond was open, deep, rushing toward the end zone, and Joe Flacco either overthrew him or didn't even look his way. It is very clear and evident that the Browns want Isaiah Bond involved in the offense. So even though his stats may be not as good as Aiden Huntington's, I'm going to have him at number 6 in our power rankings because it's very clear the Browns want to use him. Joe Flacco just cannot get him the ball. Number 5. Now we're in the top 5, and these 5 players right here, oh my goodness, they're on another level of the power rankings right here because they are contributing significantly. Number 5, I have Dylan Sampson. And Dylan Sampson, we drafted him 4th round out of Tennessee, running back. He was our 2nd running back chosen. We're wondering, what are we going to do with him? Without Judkins week 1, Dylan Sampson looked like a beast. Dylan Sampson was catching the ball out of the backfield. He was rushing the ball. The best thing I love about Dylan Sampson is when he catches a pass out in the flats, he is almost guaranteed to make a man miss. He is insane with the ball in his hands. I love it. Week 1, I think he had 7 catches. Week 2, he had a catch from Dylan Gabriel for a touchdown. And then week 3 against the Packers, he played 5 snaps on offense. I could not believe that. Now, I kind of understand it because Dylan Sampson, from what I've seen so far, cannot pass protect to save his life. He gets ran over. It's kind of disgusting. Which, Jerome Ford can pass protect. He can see coverages, he can see blitzes, and he knows where to go. Although Dylan Sampson is probably the better catching back, might be a better runner. I'm not really sure on that. They both kind of, when it comes to running the ball, 2 yards per carry type players. But I would love to see Dylan Sampson get more involved. In order to do that, he has to be able to pass protect. And he hasn't really been able to show that he can do that. Again, 5 snaps, he is going down on the power rankings, but based on that week 1 performance against the Bengals, there's still a lot of hope there. He very much reminded me of Duke Johnson Jr., which, if you play like Duke Johnson Jr., you're going to be fine for years, man. Moving on, top 4. Number 4, I have Harold Fanning Jr. Harold Fanning Jr., after week 1, I think was number 1 on my power rankings. He looked like an absolute beast. I think he tied the rookie record with like Brock Bowers for most catches by a rookie tight end in the first game. He currently has 15 catches, which is the most on the Browns. He has the most receiving yards on the Browns. He is turning into a player who, maybe in the YouTube shorts you saw, he's a guy I didn't want. Hell, in a previous video, I wanted to avoid drafting him. I wanted a guy like Mason Taylor or the Ferguson guy. But now watching Harold Fanning, I love that we drafted him. He is a good complementary football player. Did you see that catch he had against the Packers where he broke like 4 tackles? That's exactly the playmaking skills the Browns need. Now, we just need a quarterback who can move the ball down the field because, oh my goodness, our offense is terrible. But Harold Fanning has been our bright spot. For the most part, he can catch. He's had, I think, 1 or 2 drops, which might sound like a lot in just 3 games. But you compare that to Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, hell, he's got perfect hands. So Harold Fanning Jr., he's going to fall to number 4. Number 3 on the power rankings, Quinshon Judkins. Quinshon Judkins had his whole can of worms with a woman, whether it's domestic violence or dispute, whatever it is. It was thrown out. I think maybe the girl recanted her statement or whatever. I don't want to get into that. I want to get into the football player. And in the shorts, I wanted Travion Henderson over Judkins. And if you saw the preseason, you probably would have agreed with me that, yeah, Henderson looks like the better guy. You watch it currently in the regular season, Judkins is far and away, so far, just 3 games, the better running back between the two. He really reminds me of Nick Chubb, and I don't know if that's blasphemous to say that he has Nick Chubb qualities, because a lot of people still miss Nick Chubb. But the Packers' run defense shut down Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They looked so good. And I had Packers fans on my TikTok. By the way, you guys should follow my TikTok, Minnesota Browns fans, same as my YouTube channel, same as my Twitter. But the Packers defense couldn't hold a damn candle to Quinshon Judkins. I had Packers fans on my TikTok saying, hey, we're going to shut down your running game. Quinshon Judkins is not going to get anything started. Hell, if Gibbs and Montgomery can't run against us, what makes you think Judkins is going to? Judkins was a beast. He had multiple good runs against the Packers. He scored the touchdown to tie the game at 10. He was absolutely phenomenal. And he's leading the NFL for rookies in rushing, so beating guys like Omari and Hampton, Travion Henderson, Ashton Genty. Quinshon Judkins, I feel like, will be number one in the power rankings by the end of the year. We just need to give him more touches. He'll easily have over 1,000 yards as long as he stays healthy. He is number 3 in the power rankings. Number 2, Mason Graham. And Mason Graham is one of those people, we traded back to draft him, right? We had Travis Hunter there on a silver platter, and Andrew Berry said, no, we're trading back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to take Mason Graham. We're going to get an extra second-round pick, which turned out to be Quinshon Judkins, and we're going to get a future first-round pick. And lo and behold, Andrew Berry, you, sir, are a genius. Travis Hunter hasn't really done much in Jacksonville. It's kind of, I don't know if they're struggling to use him, but they're kind of implementing him slowly. Whereas Mason Graham is in. He is in the starting lineup. He is causing havoc. Mason Graham, in 3 games of football, has played great 2.5 games. First half against Bengals, he was getting pushed back. Since then, he's stuffing guys like Derrick Henry. He is being a monster, winning 43% of his pass rushes against the Packers. The average for a defensive tackle is 9%, and he won 43% of his pass rushes. That is insane. That is stupendous. That is, I don't want to say Aaron Donald level, but, as a rookie doing that it means so much for guys like Myles Garrett, Malik Collins, who's playing really good football, Isaiah McGuire. If we can get guys in the interior to rush the quarterback and make them roll out to guys like Isaiah McGuire, to Myles Garrett, that is going to set up our defense for so much success. And right now, Mason Graham is killing it. But there's a guy who's doing even better. My number 1 in the Cleveland Browns rookie power rankings is Carson Schwarzenegger, linebacker, UCLA. And when we drafted him, I was like, okay, white boy, he can move. He ain't no JOK. He ain't no Luke Kuechly. Why did we go back-to-back defensive picks? Why didn't we go wide receiver? Jaden Higgins was right there. And oh my goodness, he is a beast. He is, again, I'm not going to make the comparison, but he's Luke Kuechly-esque from what people say. He can read the ball. He is a go-getter. He kind of reminds me of JOK. Now, JOK has instincts like no other, where JOK is just a torpedo, and 1 second, he's in the backfield, tackle for loss. Carson Schwarzenegger doesn't have that yet, but he can read. He can read the line. He's a tackle machine. He leads the team in tackles, which is phenomenal. He got a huge sack against Jordan Love, where right before the third quarter ended, Packers snapped it for whatever reason. Jordan Love rolls out right, looking, fakes a throw. Carson Schwarzenegger lays his ass out. Crowd goes wild. Carson Schwarzenegger is just a fun player. I think him and JOK, along with a little bit of Devin Bush, because Devin Bush has been phenomenal as well. This might be the best linebacker trio we could ever have, as long as JOK comes back healthy and back to his regular status. Those 3 linebackers, they're blowing me away. They could go toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson, and they could go toe-to-toe with Derrick Henry, Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love. They have shut all of these guys down. And Carson Schwarzenegger is a man. I honestly think he is a defensive rookie of the year candidate. I really do. I think, I'm biased. I think he's in the lead for it. There's guys like Will Johnson who have been balling out. But Carson Schwarzenegger, man, he is so fun to play. I just bought his jersey. It was sold out for a week now, and I finally got it. I got the notification. So I am so happy we drafted him. At first, I was very confused. But, with JOK missing the whole year, now it kind of makes sense. And, those are my rookie power rankings. I'm going to go through it one more time just so you guys have an understanding of what I got here. Honorable mention, Luke Floria. 15, Gage Larvadan. 14, Dom Jones. 13, Shedeur Sanders. 12, Donovan McMillan. 11, Raheem Sanders. 10, Easton Mascarenas-Arnold. 9, Dylan Gabriel. 8, Andre Schmidt. 7, Aiden Huntington. 6, Isaiah Bond. 5, Dylan Sampson. And the top 4, Harold Fanning, Quinshon Judkins, Mason Graham, and man, they have killed it. The only thing I need to see from this draft class is for them to put Dillon Gabriel in. Once they do that, and if he plays well, this is like a foundational piece for Cleveland. This sets Cleveland up for years and years and years. Okay? And right now, we can't afford to waste primes of Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett and, older vets like that. We already wasted the prime of Joel Antonio. I don't want to waste the prime of these other guys. So right here is a good foundation. We just need Kevin Stefanski to kind of wake up and say, hey, Dillon Gabriel, you're in. We want to see what you got. If Dillon Gabriel doesn't have it, and Shedeur, maybe he doesn't have it, maybe he does. If he doesn't, we always have 2 first-round picks in the 2026 draft. If you have any questions, let me know. Follow me on Twitter, Minnesota Browns fan. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on TikTok. I just had a video about our defense. I got 40,000 views. I would love for you to be a part of it. Anyways, Minnesota Browns fan, out.